All right, so welcome back, everyone. So Vashti Guyadeen, Chief Executive Officer of the TTCSI, is the newly appointed ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago by the Pan-African Leadership Institute. And Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi, President and co-founder of the Pan-African Leadership Institute, they're joining us this morning. Vashti, good morning. Congratulations. And Doctor, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome.
Yes. Well, Doctor, let's get right to it. What does all of this mean for Vashti?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, good morning to your viewers in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
So, yes, this absolutely means a lot for Vashti, Miss Vashti. Vashti has tremendous experience coming from, academia, international relations, business, as well as the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries. And she has distinguished herself as an incredible leader. But more importantly, she has the passion for continuous leadership development. As you may be aware, leadership is a journey. It's not something you have or you don't have. It's something that you continuously develop. And it takes a humble leader to continue to develop himself or herself. And this is what Vashti has done. And lastly, Vashti has gone beyond her nation of Trinidad to not just the Caribbean, but across, even into Africa and around the world, in exerting positive leadership influence. And for that, we have been very excited. And having graduated from one of our leadership courses, we were tremendously excited seeing her work to appoint her, as our ambassador for the Caribbean to help bring together, the African diaspora and to help champion the course of leadership development, not only in Trinidad, but also around the world.
Yeah, so let's go to the lady of the moment at this time. Vashti, congratulations again. Let's speak a little bit about the achievement for you and how is this going to be beneficial to the people that you come in contact with?
Thank you, Marlon. Well, this came at an ideal moment because Trinidad and Tobago has roughly ties with Ghana for more than 50 years. And Ghana is seen as the gateway to West Africa. And not only trade ties, because you would have seen in the news where Prime Minister Mia Mottley has been focusing on Africa in terms of strengthening not just trade ties, but air links as well. And so this gives me the opportunity to bring that bridge, because Pali has a network of alumni from roughly 42 countries. So it gives me an opportunity. And we have just come out of a pandemic, and TTCSI, we are focused on, in terms of strengthening and deepening services exports. So it gives me an opportunity to connect Caribbean services exporters with the diaspora in Africa.
Yeah. Doctor, let's speak a little bit about that, this is, I suspect we can describe it as another attempt to tighten ties, if I can put it that way, closer relationship between us in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, and our brothers and sisters in Africa.
That's absolutely correct. And, there has been an ongoing, tremendous building of ties between the African Union and CARICOM. And this is in that direction as well, because we do share more than 400 years of historic ties and cultural ties with the Caribbean. We have been separated as brothers and sisters for too long, and the world now realizes that together we can achieve greater things. In Africa, we say that if you take a single stick of a broom, it will not be able to sweep and do a good job. But when you put sticks of brooms together, it's able to sweep and deliver an excellent work. And so we realize today that it's time that we come together as a people. We come together as people with a common heritage and begin to build economic ties, begin to build business ties, and also collaborate in the area of education and leadership development that will take us to that place of prosperity, progress, and growth for our peoples.
Vashti, what is the first priority for you, and what steps are you going to take to achieve whatever is the priority?
Sure. The first priority is to establish a meeting with all alumni. So we have roughly about, Jamaica network is stronger than the OECS and Trinidad and Tobago. So we are going to host a meeting with all alumni, and following that meeting, that meeting will be a coming together of minds whereby we map out, because we do not intend to do this on our own. We map out some priority areas, just 3 things that we intend to get done this year. Also, Export TT together with the TTMA and the TT Chamber would be going to Ghana next month. So it's also to network with those institutions to find out how best I can help them in terms of discussions, meeting with Pali in Ghana when they are going to Ghana.
Yeah. Dr. Kusi, let's speak a little bit about the benefits in Africa for the people of Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean.
Incredible. Africa has so much to offer. As you know, Africa is the land of origins. All humanity started from Africa. First civilization started from Africa, started from Egypt and across the continent of Africa. Other civilizations have come, but it's never eroded the essence and the foundational role that Africa plays in the world. And today, Africa holds the largest youth population in the world. And it is projected that in about 15, 20 years, the large population of people in the world will be from Africa. Africa is for tomorrow. Africa is the future. Africa holds most of the world's resources. One of the biggest challenges that Africa has had has been leadership. But today, Pali and many other leading institutions are building its people to be able to lead effectively. And so Africa has a lot in terms of resources, natural resources, human capital or human resources. And Africa, even more importantly, has, the African wisdom, which has been missing, within the global leadership space. A lot of the wisdom and concepts around the world has been very Western, which is great. But there is so much incredible wisdom that Africa has to offer. And these are some of the unique things that we get to offer on some of our unique courses. And so it's shown in the number of leaders that have come, whether from Asia, from Philippines, from Pakistan, from the US, from Canada, and across the continent, who have gotten a chance to come through our leadership programs. They have acquired tremendous wisdom, which is what has created the excitement across the Caribbean and around the world about what Pali has to offer and what Africa has to offer. So Africa is that continent not to be ignored. Again, in conclusion, we say in Africa that you can never tie a knot without your tongue. You can never tie a good knot without your tongue. Africa is that continent, which is the tongue, without which the world cannot survive and without which the world cannot succeed. And so Africa has a tremendous role to play. And this is the time for us to build the ties with the continent of Africa.
Yeah. And Vashti, are there particular sectors that we in the Caribbean are looking to get opportunities in Africa?
Yes, definitely. Services, and if we were to drill down deeper into services, professional services, ICT, energy services, we have long established ties in terms of energy relations. And just going back to what Dr. Kofi said there, these courses offered by Pali, and I can vouch for how critical it is. We have not touched, because they are very different. I started my career in academia, and these courses stood out for me simply because it gets to the core of what leadership is supposed to be in terms of conscious leadership. So this is why this stands out for me, because we need a new brand of leaders in the region.
Yeah. Dr. Kusi, let's speak a little bit about the work of the Pan-African Leadership Institute. If you can tell us how many members do you have and the type of business that you are engaged in. That's 2. And why should people in the Caribbean be interested to be involved in such an institute?
Thank you for the great question. So the Pan-African Leadership Institute focuses on developing what we call holistic, entrepreneurial, and conscientious leaders. In other words, leadership has to be approached from a holistic perspective. It takes the whole of the person. It takes the whole of you. As you're interviewing us today, it's not just a fraction of you. You are there as a family person. You are there with your intellect. You're there with your soul. You're there with your mind. You're there with your spirit. You're there with the whole of you. So leadership ought to be approached from a holistic perspective. It's also important that every leader thinks like an entrepreneur. Whether you're an entrepreneur or not, you need to have an entrepreneurial perspective to your leadership. Whether you're a political leader, whether you're a traditional leader, whether you are a philanthropic leader, you need to apply entrepreneurial principles. And the third thing is conscientious leaders. Exactly what Ms. Vashti said, we need more conscientious leaders in the world. Leaders with a heart and leaders with a conscience. We're seeing all over the world that many leaders are a lot more individualistic, selfish, and self-seeking. But we need a lot more selfless leaders. And these are the 3 cardinal areas that Pali's courses focuses on: holistic, entrepreneurial, and conscientious leaders. But unlike other places in the world where leadership programs are run, our courses and our programs are run specifically looking at the unique or critical skills that leaders in specific areas require. Example, we have a professional leadership course for leaders within the creative arts and the media industry. They are critical skills that a leader in the media or in the creative arts require that a political leader or, for instance, a philanthropic leader or a corporate leader may not require. And so we have courses for political leaders. We have courses for traditional leaders. And so whichever field you find yourself, Pali has a course that is uniquely designed, that has been well researched, that looks at the critical skills that leaders in these fields require. Remember that leadership is the greatest force on the face of the earth. Without leadership, nothing significant happens in this world. And yet, leadership is not something you are just born with. It's something that you learn. It's something that you continuously, endlessly continue to develop. And so it's very important that any forward-looking person explores potentials for continuous leadership growth, not only from one part of the world, but from a place like Pali that looks at leadership from a global perspective, which brings in that capacity for you to not only lead within your little community, but to be able to lead globally. And that is what Pali gets to offer and has to offer to leaders and to everyone within the Trinidad, Tobago, and the CARICOM area.
All right, let's go to the ambassador now. Ambassador Guyadeen, I give you the final word this morning, you know.
Sure, thank you, Marlon. As I said earlier, these courses stood out for me because of it's going back to basics, the foundation of becoming a leader. And it's not just about growing, but also in terms of straight ties. Reach out to me. We are going to form a network. There's the Ubuntu saying, I am because we are. And this stood out for me because we all need to work together to make the world a better place.
Yeah. Vashti, congratulations again. Doctor, it was a pleasure speaking with you this morning.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you for having us.
Okay, bye for now. And we wish you all the best. Okay,
Bye-bye.
So we have to go to a very short break again. We do have this video for you. It's from Deodat Mansuk. Good morning, Deodat. Thank you very much for the video. We're coming back, everybody.